Hello, my name is Stacy Thomson and I am the founder of the Performance Club, and you are watching episode 8 of the Performance Club series. Today we're talking about interventions that work in the workplace and how by approaching it from a green, amber and red, we can really start to look at this from a holistic sense, approaching all aspects of interventions from thriving right through to becoming unwell. I hope you enjoy and do tune in next week. Thank you.
We've talked a lot about the workplace, but what type of interventions work in the workplace?
Okay, so again, I think it comes down to that multifaceted approach. I like to refer to the Deloitte report, the Deloitte return on investment, which was completed on the back of the Thriving at Work report by Stevenson and Farmer. And they talk about the employer journey being at the start a thriving person, and then they demonstrate throughout that journey towards getting towards a little bit of illness and then ill health, and then they go off, and then potentially how much it costs the economy is what the diagram describes. However, I like to look at that as a green, amber and red system. So if you think of the people who are thriving as green, and then you think of the people who are starting to struggle a little bit, the amber, and then the red as in those people who are then going off sick as the red type people. So I think a lot of people would pretty much put some of the interventions that we're doing at the moment at the green. However, I would suggest that they're more towards the red, as in they're more reactive, they're more talking about symptomatology, they're talking about medicalization elements of mental illness, rather than actually what are we doing in the workplace currently that are enabling our employees to thrive, and how are we measuring that. And that could be all sorts of different things, from the development programs that you've already got, the graduate programs, to good mentorship programs, to your five-a-side team, to your annual ski trip, whatever it might be. Things that are helping people to thrive. And I think if we're looking at this from a psychological point of view, people are thriving. They're not constantly in good mental health. I mean, let's be realistic here. No one ever is in a heightened state of excellence constantly. I mean, I think we will all fluctuate up and down the scale in even just one day, 1 hour, 1 minute, whatever it might be. We're changeable human beings, and it is really about context and our environments and who we're engaging with. I could be a happy person now, and in 2 minutes, be faced with someone who's shouting at me, and my mood will change, right? So we have to be aware that fundamentally the idealistic version of, oh yeah, we're all singing or dancing all the time, it's not really realistic. So actually just being okay is enough to be in the thriving section, right? However, if you're then starting to develop, say, a lot of more maladaptive behaviors and thinking styles within the workplace, such as, you fear being judged, you like to work on your own because you don't like people potentially seeing you make mistakes, so you want some time to think about your answers, example, you might start to have a lot of different thoughts and beliefs about yourself within the workplace, such as they don't like me, I'm not good enough per se, and these collect. And unfortunately, as they collect, our mental health starts to decline. So we're in the amber stage now. And this is the bit where we need to start giving people some psychoeducation. So how does our brain fundamentally trip us up? How does it sabotage us? And how does our emotions potentially cause us much angst, as well as enable us to be happy and wonderful individuals? And I think that education is really important. And then you've got the red zone, where you do have your EAPs, you do have access to insurance policies where you can get people some help, and it might be that your first aiders are there to have that conversation in the midst of a crisis, where you're signposting that person to the right person, and it might be that those first aiders or even some of this EAP stuff happens in your amber zone as well. It's very fluid between amber and red, but we do need to make sure that all of these interventions are in flow and holistic across all workforce.
That's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do tune in next week for next week's episode, and have a wonderful week.